Let's go.
Let's go.
Hello, everybody. I got it. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to Alienate UK. We have Andy, of course, the head honcho, me, and we are joined today by Flip Searles from Dead Is Not the End.
Flip, you didn't research how to pronounce my name either.
Searles.
Searles. How do you say it?
Searles.
Searles.
Yes.
I am so sorry.
That's
We're
all right.
joined by
Next week.
wonderful, magnificent, hilarious Flip Searles from Dead Is Not the End. He is an investigator. He does a lot of ITC work, and he has an ITC service called Dead Is Not the End, which offers audio review and team training.
Oh, so you read the sign. Or she's on the website.
Yeah. Oh, she probably stole the bio that you sent to me and just read that out. Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows?
It was written with more flair than she presented it with.
I know. I did know. Yeah, she's slacking. Don't you think she's slacking?
You had a bio, and you still made me do it. Slacker.
I just wanted to see if you'd.
Wait, where's my clapboard?
Yeah, there we go. So it's great meeting you. A few months back in Gettysburg. I don't know if you've told anyone that I went to America a few months ago. That's a standing joke, by the way. And I ended up buying a T-shirt from you. But can I just say the most weirdest thing ever happened after speaking to you?
You mean your check bouncing?
So you sent me over to the guy, the Robert, the psychic medium, the guy from England, right?
Rob.
We're really good with names here.
Rob Thompson.
Everyone was called Robert. You got called Robert a number of times. So you was on the back wall near the other people. Can't think of that. Dave and whoever else.
Yeah, the people watching this can't see the room, but go ahead.
Yeah. So we walked over to the far corner, and I was just about. I opened my mouth to say, "Hi, I'm Andy," and I introduced myself. And he went, "No, don't say anything." He went, "You are," and he's looking like really intense looking at. I thought he was just gonna like dick about a little bit, and he went, "You are from the southeast." And he went, No, you're not. He went, "You're from the northwest." And I've not even. I don't know if you knew us English, UK, whatever, US, wherever. I've not spoken. So with what he said, so I grew up in the northwest of England, in Manchester, and I now live down in the southeast. So we got them both right, but that was the no bit in the middle. So we got where I was living now, but then he also picked up on where I was from. And Nicole's like, it's idling. And then, but the stuff that he was coming out with, it was crazy. It really was. But it was good.
Yeah, he's one of the very few psychic mediums I put any stock in.
Yeah. But he just, I don't know. I think because you'd sent us over, so we went straight over to him. Then he just caught us off guard. And he was coming out with loads of other stuff as well afterwards. And it was just, I've had readings done before, and they both, like the 2, 3, 4 that I've been to have been really good. But this was just, do you know what I mean? How could you know that? Obviously, we kind of know how they know that, but it was mad. It really was.
Now, if I knew we were talking about him, I would have done my research.
Sorry, we will get to you in a moment. Don't worry.
All right.
So I just wanted to put that out because I can't remember if I spoke to you about it afterwards or not. I think I might have done, but there'd been a few cans of pop soda and other stuff going around. So yeah,
maybe.
So ITC Service. Can you explain to us all exactly what that is?
No, it came on the poster. It was like half price. That's why I picked it up.
Just took it.
ITC, I do everything electronic as far as communicating with spirits, and the Dead Not the End business came about because a lot of the people that I investigate with, whether I was at an event, showing people around, or I was with my team, they never went over their evidence. They never went over their recordings. And I'm like, well, give them to me and I'll do it. And then after I was doing that for a while, I'm like, why am I doing it for free? So I started, putting it out there to people I didn't know, and got flooded. People send me audio all the time, and I review it. And I send them back to EVPs. So that's basically what Dead Not the End is about. And then it turned into the t-shirt business during COVID, because prior to that, I used to have a listening station, so people can hear EVPs and different things. And then you couldn't do it anymore because I got tired of wiping down, headphones and everything else. So I said, I'll do t-shirts instead. And that's where we are today.
You make some of the best t-shirts.
They are. Mm-hmm. How long was we stood there looking at the t-shirts until I could decide? I just wanted one of each, but I didn't have enough money.
I thought you were just slow, but evidently you were looking.
Oh, I probably was at that moment, jet lag and what have you. But it's like, I'd seen one, it's like, I like that one. Oh, and then I like that one, and then I like that one. And it's like, no, just pick one, because you're not even going to have room in your luggage to take it. You're just going to have to wear them all on the way back.
Oh, God.
But they are so good. They really, really are. And even I'm not just like bigging you up or anything like that, because I wouldn't do that anyway. But even the quality of the material is, some of them you get like Printful and what the others called, shirt box and all that. It's not bad quality, but for the cost that you sell them for as well, it's like, yeah, it's good. So
move back closer to your mic. You're out of range again.
Has it gone?
You're cutting in and out because you backed up.
Right.
See, that's why you want an audio guy as a guest.
Yeah. Can you come and start my mic out, please? Right. Let me switch it over. I'll just be 1 second.
You need roadies for that.
Oh, it's just.
Well, there we go. Right. Is that any better? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes. Yeah, you're good.
Cheers. Thank you. Yeah. So, how long have you been doing the ITC?
Well, I started paranormal stuff maybe. I always go by the age of my daughter because I know when I got her into it. So maybe 15, 16 years now. Maybe 17. I started out like other people do, where you're trying everything. You buy all the equipment, and I had a knack for audio. And so I primarily focused on that. And I went from having, 3 huge Pelican cases full of equipment to just having a little bag like this that I take with me.
Yeah. So did you design the software for it?
No. When I review audio, I use Audacity. Is the cheapest, simplest thing that you can get, but it has all the tools that you need to do it.
Right. Got you.
So what's your favorite method of ITC? Do you like the spirit box? Do you like the EVPs?
EVPs. I mean, there's nothing like talking and getting a response. When you play that recorder back and there's something there, and I find that wins most people over, even the hardest of skeptics. Once you play it back and the voices are on there, other than getting grabbed, there's no way they can deny what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, all right, are we ready for the controversial question?
Sure.
Not the big question, Andy. The other controversial question. DR60.
I thought she was going to propose.
To who?
Both of us. It's 2025.
Right?
Oh,
there's a Sister Wives show. Why not? The
DR6 Paranormal Sister Wives. That hasn't been done yet, right?
I don't know about that one.
I'm trying to make you forget your question, but go ahead.
DR60s. What are your thoughts?
Overrated, overpriced, and when you're using it, you can just, as you move your hand, it creates noise. So I really don't like them. I mean, I've used them, I've been with people that use them, every EVP I've heard off of those all sound the same. It's the same tone. Whereas the recorders I use, I get voices that sound like voices. I get whispers. I get, there's a variety to it. So
yeah,
I wouldn't pay the money for it.
Yeah, it's sometimes it seems like it gets really great EVPs, and then sometimes when I hear them, I'm like, I can't make out anything except for.
Well, that's what, getting back to Audacity, that's why I use that software, because I keep the audio in the rawest form it can. I don't speed it up. I don't slow it down. I don't play it backwards. I don't know about you, but I can't speak backwards, and I doubt when I die I'm going to be able to speak backwards. But people present me with audio and they're like, oh, listen, this is slowed down to this, and we flipped it around and upside down, and we added chamber music to bring it out. And no, either the EVP is there or it's not there. And people try too hard to make something of it. And when I send the audio back to the people, I like them to reference their original audio, because it's going to sound exactly the same. It's just going to be something that they didn't hear the first time they listened.
Yeah. I've got a question now. So one of the digital EVPs that I use, when I play it back on the device, it sounds like there's running water going on. Do you get a lot of that, or is it just specific devices that do it?
A lot of them do it. It's whether you play it through a speaker or the internal speaker on the recorder, it could sound different. I've had audio from an event, and I'll go, because I always give the people my email. I'm like, if you want your audio, I'll send it to you.
Yeah. But
when I put it on the computer, it's a lot harder to find, or vice versa. I'll hear things on the computer that I didn't hear initially. So that's pretty much every recorder.
Yeah, it just sounds like there's running water on every EVP that I do. And I'm not even anywhere near water half the time. So I don't know if it's the device, if there's something wrong with that, or, like I said, it's digital. It's got built-in memory. It's not like SD card or anything like that.
Right.
It's all battery and everything. It's just one thing, one piece. So just wondered if you'd got anything like that previously.
I have. Sometimes I've had to refer back to my recorder to see exactly where it was, and then I can pick it up through Audacity. But it's, listing first glance, you go right over it. But you knew something was there, but when you go over it on, after you upload it, it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
Plus it's different speakers. It's, I'm using where are my headphones? I think I sold them for crack money. No, you're using different equipment to listen to it. So things are going to sound different. And I always tell people, when you go out and you do EVP sessions, make sure you have a male and a female in your group, because you hear things different.
Yes.
And sometimes, somebody will hear something somebody else didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
We get that a lot with S2, because we have a range of ages in our group where someone will hear something, but then the others won't.
Now, are you only saying that because you're the young one?
No, I'm not young. But that does happen, though. And even when we have our
dinosaurs on your team.
I'm going to tell Lisa you said that.
I can't believe you just said that. That's so funny.
Lisa
I don't insult people I like.
Are going to have some words with you.
I'm sure. There's going to be a knock at the door soon.
You're from me, I've gone. Right.
Right?
I'm gonna jump to this
what
question.
What are we talking about besides dinosaurs?
I don't know. Right.
I'm
so
a very tough interview.
He's really good.
Have
you noticed
I'm
that?
near impossible to read, psychically.
Yeah.
He's an interesting fact.
He's very dry humor, very sarcastic, very on it. And even when we went back to that party in the hotel room, and we got there and he was there, and there's all that money on the floor. I think it was fake money.
Andy, nobody knows what you're talking about.
You all know what I'm talking about. Your husband was there.
He was.
I don't know what was going on, but yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Right, question from Zeno. So he's asking, hi Flip, During your ICT, have you ever encountered a disruptive entity who attempts to close the channel?
I've been in sessions. One comes to mind at Moundsville where something knocked a recorder right out of a woman's hand because they didn't like what was going on. And I caught it because I don't know if you've ever been to Moundsville, Nicole, but we're down in the boiler room. And the people I was with, we walked in and they were already doing a session. It was a big public event. But everybody was like sitting there quiet and nothing's really going on. They're not asking questions. And I didn't want to like jump in because I had just walked in the room. And all of a sudden you heard the recorder drop, and that kind of like broke the ice. And the woman said something just knocked it out of my hand. And upon playback of my recorder, right before it happens, you just hear a voice say, "Do it." The recorder goes flying, and I played that for him in the lobby at Moundsville. And they just, the woman she was with, they just like said, "All right, we've had enough," and they just walked out. It's hilarious. But as
probably
far
not
as
for them.
No, I think if they don't want to talk, they're not going to talk. If you stay too long at a location, there comes that moment where it drops out, and you're not going to get anything more because they've had enough of you.
Yeah. Here's a question then. So we as investigators go out to where we know there's paranormal activity. But surely we can just, like with the EVP and digital recorders and that, we can just set it anywhere because there must be spirits all over the place. So you don't have to be in a derelict building or an old cemetery or a sanitarium or disused prison or anything like that. You could just pull into a car park in a supermarket and surely you'd be picking something up there as well, would you not?
Well, it's a hard sell to people that go to these events to show up at Dairy Queen and, just hang out in the parking lot and run a recorder. But no, anytime that you turn that recorder on, you're inviting whoever. And a story I like to tell is, it was years back. It was up in Dutchess County. It was a high school, but we did an event up there, and I was running EVP sessions, and we're down in the basement. And I always have people introduce themselves at the beginning of the session. And upon playback, a woman says her name, and right after it, you hear another woman's voice say "Happy Birthday."
Oh,
so I'm like, that's kind of strange. She's like, no. She said, "It's my birthday." She said, "That's my mother's voice." So the mother had nothing to do with this school at all. But the fact that we were opening up that line of communication allows anybody to come in. So I tell people now at events, I'm like, don't just look for who they say is here. That's why I keep this doll around. When I do my presentations, I'm like, this is Sarah, also known as Elizabeth, also known as Emma. And she's in every haunted location ever. People they focus on that. They get tunnel vision and they're looking for one spirit that's there, and you can't do that. I mean, if you walked into a room of people and you just focused on the one person and ignored everybody else, they're not going to talk to you. You have to put it out there to all of them. Everybody's free to talk.
Yeah.
So, question: your high school in Dutchess County, is that the one in Beacon?
It may have been. This was years ago, and I've done so many of these things.
I'm going to be there on Friday.
Are you?
Doing an event, yeah. Yeah, we have our haunted item event actually on Friday. So we'll
I know I got yelled at for taking people downstairs because it wasn't one of the areas we're supposed to be in. But you got to go where the ghosts are.
We're going to be upstairs. Yeah.
So what time are you going on Friday?
The first session starts at 6.
So you won't be on here?
I might be on here for a little while.
He
tells me, okay,
she's getting worse. Flip, honestly.
We were giving up a whole big announcement. We were giving up Fridays. We're not doing Fridays. And then in October, the busiest time for investigators, he says we're going to bring back Fridays. Do every Friday.
It's
now,
fine.
if you guys do Fridays, why am I a Wednesday guest?
Because at the time we was only doing Wednesday. Wednesdays was guests. So up until the 10th of December, that's our last guest. And then we're flipping it See what I did? Play on words, flipping it. So we're flipping it. So in January,
That's how I got that nickname. But go ahead.
I don't even want to know. But anyway, so we're doing different stuff on a Friday, like different features and that. So that's where we're going to have the guests coming on the Friday. On Wednesdays, we're doing a thing called Encyclopedia of the Unknown. So we're going to go through the alphabet and talk about different things beginning with each letter. So we've got a list of content already. We just need to do research for each one. So I'll have one beginning with A, Nicole will have one beginning with A, and then we just do that. And we do that for 2 years solid. That's it. We're done. So, and Fridays are just going to be a bit of a mix of everything, going out investigating, whether it's me or Nicole, one of us in the studio, just mixing it up a bit. But yeah, you was for the Wednesday because we completely stopped doing Fridays for all the conventions and conferences and traveling and this, that, and the other. So
I was just a little insulted. I'm not worth a Friday, but go ahead.
Yeah, but
You're
if you would like
on Friday anyway.
Shut
I think
up.
Flip needs to come back for a pizza party. Flip, do you like pizza?
Not at every single investigation. That's always what they put out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we do the Paranormal Pizza Panel podcast, and
We
have
just
pizza.
call it. It's
We
just called Paranormal Pizza now. That's it. Just
See, I would have
Paranormal
called
Pizza.
it P3, but okay.
What?
This is why
Paranormal
we
Pizza
need Flip
podcast.
Ah, right. Yeah. Sorry, I've not woke up yet. Do apologize.
You can use that if you want. Just give me a quarter every time you say it.
Yeah, I just won't say it.
We got to pay royalties.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to do that. So if you want to come on that, we're doing it the first Friday of each month. So if you're available, you are more than welcome to jump on with us. And
We'll see how the rest of this goes. It hasn't been that promising so far.
Well, we have questions from viewers, actually.
we
So let's
do.
take a
And
vote.
these are real people as well.
See, I
We
didn't
didn't
expect
even
them
have
to
to
do
do
research.
Silvercarp wants to know, have you ever used a Frank box? And if so, do you think they are better than others?
Well, I think I've been in a room where, yes, people had one of Frank Sumption's original boxes. We got great results with it, but I've also gotten great results with what's the little black one? IB7 or whatever it is?
SB7?
BB7, SB7.
Mhm.
I should know that, right? ITC. I'm going to take this down.
Yeah, I think that's a lie.
No,
but anyway,
I've been in
carry
the
on.
room, them using it and gotten great results. I think as long as you're providing something to carry their voices, it doesn't matter if it's original Frank's box or, the things that we use today. Frank originally made those boxes to talk to aliens. He didn't know he was talking to spirits. He was trying to reach out there.
Oh.
So what do you
I've got no.
Okay, go ahead, Andy.
No, carry on. It's right.
I think the boxes are great as long as you're able to do the upkeep and the maintenance on them. Because the way Frank slapped them together, I know people that have them that they're constant need of repair and adjustment.
So kind of on the topic of aliens, though, do you think that some EVPs or some spirit box communication could be interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings rather than spirits?
It's hard to think that when you're getting the voices in your language. I don't know if somebody from Mars is going to be, talking about something that happened. Like if we're in Gettysburg, I don't think they're going to be talking about the Battle of Gettysburg. I haven't experienced anything that I would say could be from somewhere else. Sounds, noises, maybe something like that, but not the voices. I mean, when we go out, it gets pretty specific, to the location that we're at or the people that are investigating.
Yeah. And how about the theory that people project things onto the EVPs?
I know that's a theory. I don't think so. I don't think that they, we don't know how the spirit voices end up on the recordings. I don't think somebody could mentally project something. I think you're getting things from the location.
Yeah. Right. Question from me.
Yes.
These apps that you get on your phone or tablet, What is your true take on them?
See, now, if you just saw my presentation, the answers to all these questions are in it.
Sorry.
It's twofold. I've seen some great results. Echovox is my number one app. Like I said, I'm 90% recorder, 8% Spirit Box, and then the other 2% would be Echovox. Amazing results I've seen. I was with Danny Roberts, the creator, in Penhurst when he had the children singing Itsy Bitsy Spider with him during an Echovox session. I think that's great. So some of the other stuff that's come out, trash. Most of it. A huge chunk of it. It's trash, especially the free apps. And, but here's where my road divides. I think it's great to get people into the field. To, if they're sitting with their free app that they downloaded and they start hearing a voice, if it makes them want to do this more and more, I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's turned into some very lazy investigation hosting. I know some promoters, they do these events and they just, here's Phasmabox and just listen to that. That, to me, that's not investigating. That's listening to an hour's worth of stuff and hoping that you get 30 seconds or 45 seconds of something relevant. Yeah. So that's how I am on apps. They're good if you're sitting around by yourself and you're interested in the field and you want to run an app, or you want to sit in the cemetery and run an app. Perfect. But don't charge people to come out and sit there and listen to an app.
No.
Yeah. We use Phasmabox a lot, but the random word generators, that one I'm very sketchy about.
You're talking like an Ovilus and things like that.
Not even Ovilus, like the apps too, like the Spirit Talker and the Echovox, whatever just gives you a random word.
Well, I can tell you, back when Ovilus came out, Bill Chappell's designs, I would use them, but I also knew that Bill loaded them with paranormal words. It's not like Echovox. He took audiobooks, so everything's in there. It's not just putting in spirit, ghost, murder, things like that into the program. But the Ovilus, I would use it in phonetic mode because I've gotten great results where it's just doing like half a syllable or a full syllable, things like that. And I remember I was out near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We were in Nemacolin Castle. And we were upstairs and we were running an Ovilus. And it just random words. And a lot of times people start to create their own stories based on the words that are coming out. Like it'll say death, it'll say apple. And then the people are like, oh my God, were you hanged in the apple tree? It's like, that's not what it's saying. These are random words. So I'm like, let's try it in phonetic mode. So we switched to phonetic mode, and a woman asked, what do you think about all these people coming to see you? And in phonetic mode through that Ovilus, it said, you are all dumb people. Just like that.
Whoa.
So phonetic mode, if you have an Ovilus, those are crazy expensive too. If you go out and you buy an Ovilus, use it in phonetic mode. Don't use the words that are in there because they're all, especially the early ones. There's like 2,000 paranormal words loaded into it.
Yeah.
And even Echovox, there are voices because there's 6 different voice banks, and I only use 2 of them, a dominant male and a dominant female. And I already know the phrases and stuff that come out in those voices or anything that comes out in that voice. So I immediately, toss that aside, and I'm listening for the underlying voices that are using, the Echovox to carry their voices through.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the apps and things now that you can even put your own custom words. So you can add your name and you can add stuff about the location. Like, I feel like that's kind of cheating because if you put it in, it might come out during your investigation.
Well, how many times have you done EVP sessions and gotten your name?
Not a lot.
Okay. How special was it when you did?
It was okay. Lisa gets her name constantly. At least the thing is very easy.
It got so wild with me back when we were filming the show. I'd be in one part of the location that we're filming at, and another group would be another one, and they would call me on the radio, said, "You have to come here. They're asking for you." It would the box was saying, "Where's Flip? Bring Flip."
Oh,
yeah. So they get to know you after a while, and they know that you're there for the right reasons. You know, I'm not there to exploit anything.
No.
Another question from Og. Is Frank's box the same as Alice box?
I'm not familiar with an Alice box, but if it's based on, that principle, everything came after Frank's box.
Yeah. Cheers. No, because I've never
based. Looks like
I've never had my name called other than on the one that Ron and Lourdes was doing, the digital sounds experiment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time first time I've got it right without having to think about it.
I know.
And it said my name like 3-4 times. It kept saying English, or it's either English or England. I can't remember. And I'm like, oh, I'm sat at the back, and it's like, it woke me up a bit. And it's like, it did it a few times. I was quite impressed with that. But that's the only time ever, other than being laying in bed at night and you hear your name shouted out, you sit up, it's like, who the hell was that? And there's like no one about. They're the only times that it's ever happened. I've never had it on EVP. Even when we've done Estes and stuff like that, my name's never come up. Or it's not for me anyway. So whether somebody else has heard it, they've not mentioned it afterwards. So
maybe they don't like it.
Probably. I was just going to say they probably just think can't be arsed with him. We'll keep going.
Right. So one more. Do you?
Oh,
go ahead.
Go on.
Go ahead. We can say this one.
Fine. Go.
Right. Zeno wanted to know, what is your opinion of Cody ITC?
Couldn't tell you who that is.
Well, Zeno reckons he's fake AF.
Do I know who?
He's not Cody and whatever, them two lads.
No, I don't think so.
You know, I know
Colby.
I know a lot of people in the field, and I know some people that have channels and all that, but I focus on what I'm doing. I can't be bothered. I have all the free time in the world now. I do paranormal full time for next month will be 10 years where this is all I do. And I don't have the time to go and look and see everybody that's out there and what they're doing. If somebody's doing something groundbreaking, I'll hear about it. It'll be major news. But no, like I said, boxes, I know Frank's box because he was the original. And after that, they're just different variations of what Frank did.
Yeah. So do you ever use any of the old school stuff? I know you said like you do a lot of the tech, but do you ever use like Ouija boards or dowsing rods or anything like that? Do you ever go back to basics?
I do. I've tried dowsing rods, usually on public events because somebody will bring them out.
Yeah.
But to me, like I said, the voice recorders, I'm telling you, I got case upon case. I got the cameras. I got everything. I got every little ghost meter, K2, all that. I don't use them. I love turning on a recorder. I still get as excited with the latest EVP as I was when I got my first EVP. Yeah. It's to me, there's nothing better than doing the audio work.
What's your go-to recorder?
The Sony, I have one right here. The Sony, I should know what it is. ICD B26. It's Mark and Debbie Constantino turned me onto these recorders way ages ago. And since using them, there's a couple other ones that I would introduce in, like the PX312 is a good Sony recorder. But I have that recorder right there. I probably have over 100 of them now because I don't erase my recorders. If anybody ever wants to go back and, where's the original audio? I still have it. We did 72 episodes of Paranormal AfterParty. I have the recorders from every one of those shows with the audio that was captured that night. So that is my go-to recorder. You could try to get them on eBay. They haven't made those in over 20 years, but I'm probably going to outbid you. I got one sitting down. I have one in the mailbox today. I was notified. The latest one came in.
Wow. So they're not.
Sometimes
I'm
when I have a
looking at
surplus.
it now. Right now.
So they're not. Are they digital recorders or
Yes,
the old
but
school tape?
They're old school in the fact that there's no memory card in here. So when you upload it to like Audacity, like I use, you have to run something out of the headphone jack, and you do it in real time.
So do you ever use?
I've not seen a better recorder for doing EVPs.
No. Do you ever use? Or do you still have any of the ones that you put the mini tape in, or anything like that, or is it just purely digital?
I had a couple of those. I don't know if they're probably in the closet somewhere. But that, if you're using the same tapes over and over, you'll start to get bleed through.
Yeah.
From older recordings, and anything that's gonna, cast doubt on your recording, I'd just rather use something else that is foolproof. Cleaner
sounding them. Yeah. No, I get that. 'Cause I've got one up there, but like you said, I've used it a few times, and when you keep taping over and taping over, you get that little bit that comes through from the previous ones. Yep. So
I tell people get cheap recorders. I said the only things that you're looking for are noise cancellation, so you can turn it off, and voice activation, so you could turn it on. Because even as much as I love doing this, I don't want to sit and listen to a 10-hour recording. No. So I always use voice activation, because if it's not something that's strong enough to trip the voice activation, it's probably something I would toss aside anyway. So
have you used? So I know you say like use all the different devices and that. Have you used any of the apps on the phone, just a voice recording app? Because one of my mates told me about Dolby On.
I have recorders with me all the time. I got recorders in my Jeep right now.
Yeah.
That if I'm anywhere to do an impromptu session, I'm ready to do it.
But
I tell people starting out, your phone is great because you got a camera, you got video, you got audio recording, and like I said, the apps, if you want to use one of those, I mean, now they have the built-in LiDAR and SLS, all that kind of stuff. So it's great. It's all in one tool. It's not as good as any one individual tool would be, but you're carrying it in the size like that.
Yeah.
Have your phone, and I always have cat balls.
Cat ball lady. She was known as cat ball lady for about 12 months.
And what's your best cat ball evidence?
It's not really the best cat ball evidence. I mean, you ask, and if it lights it up with, timing and relevance to what you're asking, you say, hey, can you light up that ball? And it does. Then, it's just another layer to add to the experience.
And see, that's why that's a perfect way to put it, because things like EMF meters, things like that, on their own are not great evidence. But when you use them to back up something else that you're doing, I mean, we filmed at Coney Island at the bumper cars, and the original owner, they had a big portrait of him behind the DJ booth. And we did an EVP session. We're listening back, and we actually had K2 meters sitting on the DJ booth. And the same time that the EVPs would come through on the recording, the K2 would light up. And we asked, I'm like, is that you lighting that up when you hear your voice? And the thing, it lit up like a Christmas tree. So standalone evidence, not great, but when coupled with something else, great. If you can get 3 different things to all coincide with the same, bit of evidence, that's fantastic. But
yeah,
like I said, no, people want to hear my recordings. People want to see my ghost pictures. Nobody's ever asked me, K2, what was your craziest K2, session?
That's
but I'll tell you if you want to hear it.
Yeah. What was that was the craziest?
No, I was with Chip Coffey in Mansfield Reformatory, and whatever room we were in, he laid next to each other probably 6 different ones, 6 different K2 meters, and he was telling them light up the 4th one and it would light up the first one, it would light up like that. Every one that he said, it would light up in sequence, and I thought that was amazing. But other than that, no recordings.
Oh, so when you do the recordings, I'm guessing you use more than one recorder at a time. You set a few about. So
when I get to a location, I'll set up recorders in different areas. I always record the stories of the people, whether it's a historian, whether it's someone that works there, any interview, I have a recorder running. Not so much just to capture the evidence, but a lot of times the spirits will correct the people telling their stories. I've maybe a dozen different examples of somebody telling something on a tour or whatever, and you just hear the voice in the background say no. Like, that's not how it happened. So yeah, I'll run recorders then. I mean, it's better to have one running than not. And if you put them in places where your teammates don't know where they are, then you'll find out what your teammates really think about you.
Oh yeah, good idea. But what I was going to say, so when you've had, say, 2 or 3 different recorders in one area, and you've picked something up on one, would you have picked something up on the other, but be 2 totally different things, or would it be the same thing on both?
It's happened both ways. I used to work with Connecticut spirit investigators, and everybody on the team would run a recorder in a room. And there was times where I'd capture something on mine, and maybe one other would capture it, and the other one's not. I don't know if it was a proximity thing or if it's a different type of recorder. Maybe it didn't pick it up. But yeah, a lot of times you get the same thing on multiple recorders.
Cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We did a session at the Columns, and I think it was 4 DR60s. So yes, DR60s, but they were all in different areas in the room, and that's where the Lincoln flag is, the one where they put under his head where he got shot.
We filmed there. That was our 3rd episode we ever did, 3rd or 4th. We filmed at the Columns Museum.
It's amazing. I love the Columns Museum.
It was great. A lot of bats in there, though. You have bats at night?
No, we didn't have any bats.
We had
Where were the bats?
Flying around.
In the museum?
Yeah.
How did the bats get in? This is like a functional museum. People go in there. It's very nice.
There's bats in there at night. But go ahead, finish your story, because I'm going to tell you a cool story about the Columns.
So we had all those DR60 set up, and we asked, can you finish this 4 and each one of those DR60s got, and 7 years ago, at different volumes at the same time.
Depending on the proximity of where the spirit was.
Yep.
Like I said, sometimes it happens like that. Sometimes, like you had 4 of the same recorder. So, it would pick up the same thing. But sometimes, other people have these recorders that don't work. I'll get into that too. But the Columns Museum story, when we're filming there, is maybe 2:00 in the morning, and the police show up. So they're knocking on the door, and we go down. We explain what we're doing, how we have permission to be there and whatever. And the cops are like, "Can we come in?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "You could be in the episode if you want." He's like, "Well, we can't have our faces on camera, but you could see like the bodies of the cops like going around with us." And it had to be 3:30, 4:00 in the morning. And one of the cops asked me, he goes, "Do you know the story about the Milford witch?" I'm like, "No." So we ended up in the cemetery. It's 4:00 in the morning. I rolled my ankle. It wasn't right for a year, like tripping over something in that cemetery. But that's my cool Columns story. I'd have to go back to remember what evidence we got there, because that was way early on.
Wow, that's a cool story. That is a cool story. Yeah, other than the ankle, but yeah.
Oh, well, it's a good story now.
Well, we're going back in December, so you're welcome to join us.
I'm not around the corner anymore, right? I'm all the way down
here. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, well, I'll take it. Send me the date. She didn't say the date. That means she really doesn't want me to go.
No, that's because I don't want all these people to show up and be like, "Hey."
Oh, sorry.
Make sure.
Are we not allowed to?
You are allowed.
Thank you.
And then I don't want people breaking down the door of the Columns at like 2 a.m. Well, last time we were there, we were doing the ghost tours this past weekend, And we were there until like 11, and the security alarm starts going off that there's a reported activity at the Columns Museum. Like, but nobody came, so I guess they know to just ignore it by now. Just ghost hunters.
Oh, they just thought, leave them to it. Let them
Yeah.
Well, it's
meet
Milford
their
on the weekend.
fate.
I'm sure they're occupied with other things.
Is it that bad?
No, I'm just
No.
making fun of it. Like I said, I haven't been there in years and years.
It's a very nice town. You have to go when you come back. Oh, Dead Fish Cheese Spread wants to know if you got the K2 thing on video.
With Chip, no, that was a public event. I don't think I have it on video. Actually, I might, because I would have been running a video camera. If I find it, I'll send it to you so you guys can play it. I'd have to go through as many audio recorders as I have. I got stacks of mini digital videotapes.
Yeah,
that was back in those days.
Oh, so digital recordings, and you like doing the video. So when you've got a EVP on one of them, have you then picked something up visually on one of the cameras at the set, like to correspond with what's going on?
Well, when we were doing the show, everything was filmed. Like we would do a session, I'd play it right back on camera. So the audience would hear it at the same time I'm hearing it. But a lot of times you feel them come around you. When you play it back and they start hearing their voices, they'll come around. And not only just like tripping the K2 meters and stuff like that, you start feeling the coldness around you, like they're coming close.
Yeah.
And now I make it a point of inviting them close. I'm like, listen, we're going to play it back and, let me know if you hear yourself. And a lot of times you'll feel that the coldness around you, like everybody huddles around the recorder, so the speakers, so they can hear it. But then it's like, wow, something's cold next to me. So yeah, they'll come around, and listen in on what you're doing. And then usually, once they hear their voices, they're a lot more apt to communicate in subsequent sessions.
Cool, excellent, thank you. Oh no, you've done that question, haven't you? That's right. I'm just going through the chat to see what's going on. So with the EVPs, I'm not going to ask the generic questions, but what's the strangest EVP that you can recall? That is a genuine EVP and it's not like someone mucking about. It's like, it's legit.
Strange. I'll tell you the one that hit me the strangest. I think I played it for Nicole, was from the Shanley Hotel. And every time I speak somewhere, the question always comes up: what's your favorite? What's your most haunted spot? Your favorite spot? Both of them.
Yeah.
It's the Shanley Hotel. That is the most consistently evidence producing location I've ever investigated, and I've done it probably at least 20 times. Yeah. But after Sal, the owner, passed away, the new owner, they turned his old apartment into, it was supposed to be a suite. And are they still living there?
Yeah.
I know that they ended up moving in. Mm-hmm. But in the time where it was going to be a suite, I remember going in there before the investigation started and standing in Sal's old bedroom, just looking at a couple photos on a table. And I felt the hand rest on my shoulder and it stayed there. So I'm like, all right, this is pretty wild. But later on, we were in his kitchen. It was myself, Ron, I think Anthony Simonelli was in there. And to this day, probably my favorite EVP. We were talking about him, and I told the story of how if the Shanley was your first investigation, you were spoiled because of what a gracious host Sal was and everything else. And after I said it, we captured on my recorder. It captured "thank you" in Sal's voice. It's not a whisper. It's not. It's his voice. And I played it for Kelly because Kelly was there for years with him, and I was almost in tears, to the point that Ron asked me if I was okay because he never saw me react like that. It just like the emotion came over me when we listened to that EVP. So if that's strange, I guess, definitely my favorite, definitely the one that hit closest to home. But
wow.
Yeah, that one was great. And again, in my presentation, that's the last EVP I play because I started out talking about, my first experience was at the Shanley, and I go through my whole spiel, and then at the end, I play that.
Yeah.
To talking about it, I get choked up. I can hear that EVP in my head without listening to the recorder.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
It's
That
to not
really
only
is.
get a voice, to get activity, to get a voice that you know, that you recognize, that's talking to you personally. That's something that a lot of people don't even realize the weight of that.
And I love running across people that knew Sal, and I'll play it for them. I'm like, tell me who this is. I know, but Sal, that's his voice.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit gravelly, a little bit, you know. So, if that's strange, that's strange. Definitely my favorite.
I can see why. I can see why.
So, you know, you get funny ones. I know I was in St. Albans Sanatorium, and I got a woman, sounded English, and the EVP was "Hello, pickle." She said to me.
That'd be an English thing to say.
And yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's definitely weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's like some very colorful ones that come through sometimes with the F-bombs. We were in the Patchett House in Montgomery, and the only things we kept getting were "Get the F out. Get the F out. Get the F out" on every device, every EVP.
Wow.
Do you get a lot of those?
Yep. All the time. That's one other thing I love when using the spirit box, because you know that's not coming over the radio waves. You know, like a true spirit, like an AM/FM spirit box. Not you know. One of my favorite questions I ask them is, you know, what's your favorite curse word? And they'll start pouring out. And I remember I was at Bobby Mackey's with Shannon Sylvia. She had an event down there. I was there for 2 nights in a row, and we were in the old money counting room, and we had the spirit box going, and it was saying people's names that were in the room. It was the same voice coming through. I forgot what their name was. They said it was Tom or something like that, but it was naming the people that were sitting there and everything else. And all of a sudden, a second voice comes in, and it's saying every derogatory term for a female that you can think of. Wow. Just one after the other. And we're like, you know, if it was Tom, we're like, Tom, is that you? And it's the first time I ever heard a spirit snitch on another spirit. He said, no, it's Scott. You know, and Scott was one of the guys that was involved in the Pearl O'Brien murder, evidently, you know, allegedly. But the voice came straight through. I said, no, it's Scott. Told on him.
Wow. Can I just talk about this? So these are the radios that I use when I go out investigating, if we're going to be quite a distance away from each other. So we've gone to a local cemetery, like in the town where I live. So I had one of these, and a lad who worked with Nathan, he had the other one. So he's over the other side, and we're both on the same channel. And so it kept coming through on mine. It kept going, get out, get out. Right, then it'd stop, then it'd do it again. So I shouted Nathan over, he come back, goes, right, stand next to me, make sure we're on the same channel, it switched on, volumes up. So I had mine clipped on there, he was holding his like about 4 or 5 inches away, and we just stood there waiting, and it did it again, but it only came through on my radio.
And
even though
you didn't hear a key up on the radio or nothing like that.
No, so
voice came through.
Obviously, so then you do that, and then you've got, which one is it? So you get the red light that comes on when you talk.
Mm-hmm.
So see how you got that then? The key.
That's what I'm saying. You just heard the voice. You heard the voice, and then the key sound.
So it's like, no, there's no key sound. It was just get out. I'm like, so I'm like, Nathan, was that you? And he's like, no. Right, can you make your way back here? Because I just want to check something. And it did it about 3-4 more times, and then just stopped. So I'm looking around then, because we kind of we made our own way into the cemetery. The gates were locked, basically. So we managed to get in through some bushes and trees and what have you.
Has the statute of limitations passed on this?
As what?
Trespassing? I don't think it's that long.
It wasn't trespass anyway. And so we were just walking around seeing if we could pick anything up, and that kept coming through. So then I walked over towards this tree, because it looked like little tiny stones were landing near our feet. So I'm looking around thinking, is somebody else in there? It might be security. They've tuned in on the same channel that I was using, but we couldn't see any cars, couldn't see anybody walking about. Then the little tiny, like pebble-like stones were just landing right next to us. I'm like, there's nobody else here. You could see the main road. There's an apartment block on the other side of the metal fence. And behind that, it's just fields. And that was miles away. Unless he was a really good shot, there's no way that these little stones were landing near us. And then I had a Fitbit on. And it's a similar strap to the Apple Watch. Do you know where you click it on, then tuck it under?
If you say so. I haven't worn a watch since I retired, but go ahead.
All right. So you click it on and tuck it under. So you have to, it doesn't just fall off unless you don't fasten it right. And I'm stood there talking to him, and then I just felt the watch drop from my wrist, so I grabbed it. And it's like, the only time I used to take it off was to charge it, and that Fitbit lasts forever. So I'd charge it like once a week. And it just, something had undone it, but I didn't feel anything until it felt fallen from my wrist. I didn't feel anyone touching my arm. There's no sensation, no motion, nothing. It was just, it had come undone. I'm like, what the hell? And that is the only time that it's ever done it. It's never done it when I've been in bed, been in the bath, been at work. And it's a bit of a struggle to undo it because you got like a belt, you've got to pull it through,
right,
unclip it and take it off that way. It doesn't just fall off. There's like a bit of a knack to it.
So the takeaway from that story is sometimes ghosts touch stuff.
Yeah.
And do
tell you to get out because you've trespassing. I don't know.
I've had them turn on equipment in my case. And you know, in back in the day, we used bags before cases. All of a sudden, you hear some static, and you know they were turning on the equipment in the cases.
It's like, hello, you're here. I'm ready to talk.
Telling you what to use. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That happened to us at Mid Orange. We were filming something, and we're like trying to go get set up, and all of a sudden, spirit box is going off in the equipment bag.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting.
They want to talk.
Right, so question from Jason Finch. Do spirits burp, cough, sneeze, or pass ghost gas?
Ghost gas. Oh, wow.
You are the IT expert.
Expert is a odd term. I'm an enthusiast. We'll say that.
A ghost gas enthusiast.
I think it takes them so much to get words out that they're not going to waste time on stuff like that. If you're hearing that things on your recordings, it's probably your teammates.
But would you get that? But then would you not get that on a residual, like an obviously non-intelligent connection?
A cough or something like that. Most residual stuff I've seen, it's like, all right, this woman walks through here at 2:45 every morning. You know, and things like that. As far as the sounds, no. I mean, no. Sometimes like a clearing of a throat, I can remember getting stuff like that. It's not really a cough, but I don't think I've ever heard one sneeze or pass gas.
No, we've got like heavy breathing. Like you get that quite
breaths
a lot
all the time.
Yeah.
You'll get that once in a while. Yeah, definitely breaths. If they're trying to formulate words, a lot of times you'll just catch the breath.
Right. Yeah. Got you.
In my grandmother's old house, there was a spirit who was supposedly named Charlie, and he choked on a chicken bone and died. And you heard him coughing sometimes.
That was just like absorbed into the location, like the energy of that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you residual
cough.
Residually. Mm-hmm.
But do you think you can get residual livings? So because something's happening all the time while we're alive, can that then carry on happening?
Anything that's absorbed in the location,
in
the
normal
walls,
time.
Anything. Sure. Yeah. It could be somebody that's still alive and your residual energy is behind from something tragic that happened, or just heavy emotion. If somebody lost somebody and, they sat in the same room crying every night, that can get absorbed into the walls, into the stone, into the wood, stone tape theory.
Yeah. Well, is it limestone that's the most absorbent for stone tape
That's
theory?
what they say. I'm no geologist, but I listen when people talk.
Cheers.
Okay, a couple more questions.
We've got a few tonight.
You want to do that one?
Yeah, go on. So this is from Gerald. Oh, I'm only going to read it out because it goes out on Podcast Player. So obviously, so people can hear what we're saying. I wonder if you could use a Tesla car screen tech to catch ghosts and EVPs also. Maybe try to communicate with ghosts, you see.
Well, there's that video that it's viral right now of the Tesla. That you see the figures walking up to it.
I'm not.
Could it be?
I don't buy into that.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
No.
No.
My Jeep runs on gas, so I don't know about Teslas. But
Because
anything could be captured. People capture stuff on their Ring cameras. They security cameras. You capture stuff. So why wouldn't I don't know the inner workings of the electronics of a Tesla, but could it catch something? Sure.
Well, I've been in traffic at the side of a Tesla, and as you know, they have the side cameras as well, so it can show you what's either side of you, so you don't pull out either way. So whether I'm in the car or the van, it doesn't have a true definition of what car or van I'm in. It's just a generic. So the car drives an estate, so it'll just show an estate-looking car, and then the van, it's just a box standard Ford Transit. That's what it shows you. It doesn't actually show. I know might be going a bit deep with this, but it doesn't show you like the exact model of what it is. It's just like a generic picture. So with that green stick figure, is that just because obviously we know it all uses AI? So is it trying to pick up something and make it look like a person when actually it could just be the shape of the tree or the shape of the
So you're saying
lamppost
does it
or whatever?
act like an SLS camera?
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's specifically looking for something?
Yeah, it's trying to create the image so you know that you're not to drive into it, sort of thing.
Again, I don't know the inner workings of that. I know about Xbox though, and I know SLS cameras. I mean, that's what it's made to do is to find forms, and sometimes it could be a step ladder, and they'll turn that into a person.
Yeah.
Chairs are really bad with those.
Yeah.
I always think the chair is a person.
Mm-hmm. So, but then again, like other equipment, I've seen some amazing things from SLS, but I think people, they put too much into it and thinking that something is paranormal. Just, like every single thing that happens, oh, that's paranormal, without looking at the other explanations first.
Yeah.
Well,
so as far as a Tesla, if it creates that figure, that little white person,
Yeah.
So stop your Tesla and ask the figure if it can move to the left or move to the right and see if it responds. Like we do with the SLS. Can you wave your hand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't have hands. It just has stick arms.
Just has sticks.
Sorry. Can you wave your sticks?
No, if you can get to interact, then yeah.
Yeah.
People, I'm sure you guys too. People want to show you orb pictures and stuff like that all the time, and I don't put anything into an orb photo unless there's like really something that you can make out in the orb and like everybody sees the same thing. But orbs on video and seeing the movement patterns, I'm interested in seeing that.
Yeah. Because I had one guy that was showing me all these photos once, and it's like the nighttime photos, and there's all these different like clouds and a bit of, I'd say, pareidolia, and it's like, I'm like, do you take the photos with or without the flash? This was before the night vision on the AI kicked in. I'm only going back like 4 years ago. I'm like, take the photos without the flash and see what you don't get, because the flash will wait and pick up, and it will bounce back from any. If it's at night and it's cold, it's going to bounce back from any warm air. So even though you're not going to be able to see your breath is still there, and the flash hits it and bounces it back. So you see it straight away, and it creates that mist, like what and the Nicole's backdrop. You get that. But some of these people are adamant.
You're breathing heavy if you get that much.
Or vaping.
What are you doing in the cemetery?
But some of these people are adamant that no, this is a spirit trying to manifest itself so it can show me what it is.
Well, some people you can't tell anything to. They have it set in their mind that this is what it is.
Yeah.
And no matter what you tell them, you try to explain to them, I'm not out there to break anybody's heart.
No.
If they think it's grandma coming to visit them on Christmas, you know what I'm saying? But people show you stuff and you know what it is and you tell them and no, that's not.
You don't understand. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Where I live now, there's the community that I live in, they have their own Facebook page of the hauntings in this area. And this woman posted a picture and she's like, look at this orb. And it was a bright blue dot. And I replied to her. I said, oh, you took that with your iPhone. And she's like, how do you know I took it with my iPhone? I said, because that's an artifact that happens with lighting, taking pictures with iPhones. I said, it's not an orb. It's from your phone. Nope. All of a sudden, I don't know what I'm talking about. And never. I'm like, I've seen it too many times. I said, Google it. You'll see the blue dot, bluish green dot from an iPhone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like because they were showing me all these, and every single photo had this thing in it. It's like, right, take it without the flash. And I'm sure someone responded with, no, because you don't get anything. Then that's what I'm trying to say. You're not getting it because there's fucking nothing there. And it just
I was on a public investigation one time, and the person was standing there looking into their viewfinder and they were filming. And I'm like, look at all these orbs. And you just see, it's dust.
Yeah.
And you see it flying around, and there's one coming this way, one coming that way. And they're like, look, these are all orbs. They're all orbs. I'm like, hold on, keep looking through there. And there was a couch or a chair sitting right there. And I just slapped it. And the whole, the dust like poured out of it.
Just went up.
And I'm like, how many orbs do you see now?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm not out there to discourage anybody from, pursuing this field, but
no,
you have to be open to being wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Not myself, but the rest of you.
Yeah. Well, it's like we was in the cemetery and we was doing a live EVP, and me and Ali that was doing it was sat on the bench, and people kept saying they kept seeing these red and white orbs bouncing off one of the headstones. I'm like, all right, okay. So we sat there and we're working it out. So there's a crossroads. So where the cemetery is a road, horizontal and vertical, and they're obviously adjacent to each other, and there's a set of traffic lights. So it wasn't happening every time a vehicle went past. And then we waited a few more minutes and I worked it out. So depending on the height of the vehicle and the height of the tail lights and headlights on it, so like when a truck or a bus went past, it hit this headstone, the shiny marble ones. Mm-hmm. It hit this particular one at the exact same point, because obviously the lights are the same height on all these vehicles. But when cars and bikes were going past, it wasn't, because the bushes were stopping it going through, so you couldn't see it at the lower level. But because the buses and trucks, it was near an industrial estate, but because they weren't that regular, it's like this was like 9:30 at night in the week. So you'd get a bus every 30 minutes or every 20 minutes or whatever. Mm-hmm. So people are like, oh, it looks like orbs. You're getting orbs. I'm like, no, unfortunately not. I'd love to. I could have sat there and gone, oh my God, yes, it is. But I couldn't lie. It's like, no, it's just the height of certain vehicles. It's bouncing off that headstone and it's giving what look like actual orbs.
I've seen that happen. We've been in basements and a traffic light outside. Yeah. All of a sudden there's like a red glow. Oh, what's this? Or like you said, it bounces off a reflective surface. And you do your due diligence. You look, what could it be? And we found out it was a stoplight outside. Every time it went to red.
Yeah. But do you find you become not more skeptical, but more you try and find more of the logical explanation for it the longer you've been doing this? Yeah. So when you first started, you kind of want everything to be paranormal and a ghost or a spirit or something out the ordinary.
There's people who've been doing it for 30 years that are still like that. Every little bump is paranormal. No, yes. But if you do this enough, and like I said, I'm doing it full time, so I'm out almost every weekend doing something. And after a time, you know the situations, you know what you're hearing. I tell other people, like when they're doing their sessions and stuff, know your team members. We had a guy on the show that every time he spoke after his last word, he would breathe back in, and it would show up on the recordings. But I knew that was him, so I can dismiss it. And you get much more dismissive the longer you do it, because you've been in the situations before and you know what it is you're hearing. You know what it is that causes a certain thing. Like I told you before with Echovox, there's a certain voice on there. I know it's from the Echovox.
Yeah,
of course, if your lights are flickering, it's probably a demon.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That's
What
why
else
it's really
could it be?
important to like trust the people that you're investigating with too, because if you say, "Hey, did you say this?" and they're like, "I didn't make a sound," or "No, my stomach didn't like growl,"
Yeah.
then you have to be able to trust that it wasn't them.
See, I yell at people in public investigations, and it got to the point probably about 10 years ago. I was in Virginia because I do a lot with Flumery Promotions. I used to do a bunch of his events. And one of them, there's this woman, evidently she had been to a previous event, and she brought like a few other people with her. And I heard her whisper to her friends, like, "This is the guy that yells at people." and it was like, "Oh, where were you?" And she's like, she told me where she was. I'm like, "Oh, were people being noisy during the session?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, after we played back the first session and you started hearing stuff, did they quiet down?" "Yeah." So I'm like, that's why I yell at people, because especially a public event, I take it very seriously when people are spending their money to go out and do this. And I won't let one person ruin it for a group of 10 people or 12 people. And a cool story about that, the oldest person I yelled at, she had to be in her 70s, was a woman at Miss Fanny's Victorian Party House. We were doing an event in there. And she was eating hard candies, which I'm not going to yell at her for that, but she had the little cellophane wrapper in her hand and just like squishing it like during the session. And I was like, "What is that?" And then people turned their lights on, they saw her doing it, and they're like, it's like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize I was doing it." So she got yelled at. But the rest of the people had a good time. So it was worth it.
That's good.
And I can tell that story now because she's probably not still alive.
Oh boy. How long ago was this? She might still be kicking.
She might be watching this.
She might be. You never know.
But as it says behind you, dead is not the end. She can be watching from anywhere.
She's going to come back and she's going to haunt you. And all you're going to hear on all your EVPs now is that crinkle noise.
I'll tell you, it was the worst. But it keeps it in mind, though, that's the oldest person I ever yelled at.
What's the youngest person you've ever yelled at? Are you yelling at children too?
Sure.
Elderly
Of
children?
course he is.
No, I yell at the parents if they're not
him?
controlling their children. I mean, children shouldn't be on these things anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I got my daughter into it when she was about 12. She turned 13 at midnight in Lizzie Borden's bed. That shows you what kind of father I am. But no, a lot of people bring their kids out, and it's not so much the age of the child, it's the maturity level of the child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've been out there. I used to do every summer the paranormal teen camp up in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. And that ranged from age 10 all the way up to, I think, 19. And 10-year-olds, they know how to act. I mean, if they're mature and they can handle this kind of thing, great. But I've seen some adult men that won't act like that, you know, or people that come out and they get drunk on public events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a fun
red flag.
We have 16 plus on all of our events, just for the public's sake. But if somebody reaches out to us, they're like, "We have a 14-year-old who's really into this. Can I bring them?" Usually we'll make an exception, because if you care enough to reach out, then
case by case basis. Funny story with that. I was at EnigmaCons last spring at St. Albans, and somebody brought an infant to the investigation. Showed up, like, wanted to push the carriage around St. Albans, the stroller with their infant. Like, you can't do this. It's not so much, for what could happen to the kid, but you're ruining it for everybody else. That kid starts crying. I know kids cry, but that's why they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Totally
strangest guest we have had at an event, a public event, is someone brought a ferret in a backpack.
Wow.
We filmed in the girl that we were interviewing. She had her ferret there, and by the time the episode aired, the ferret had died. So we had a little tribute at the end for the ferret.
Aww.
But people bring dogs. They bring. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's all up to the promoter, right? Like I said, I'm just hired out to go do these things.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know, and then all of a sudden you hear like, and we're like, "What is that scratching?" And she's like, oh, lifts up the backpack with a little bubble in it, and there's a ferret in it.
I was sure it weren't Jeff the mongoose.
No.
Have you heard? Just look that up. It's different. Put it that way. But it's good at the same time. So, no, you actually panicked me then when you started saying the worst guest, and I thought you was going to say the worst guest we've had on here.
Oh no, I would.
I thought, where is she going with this? Oh, like, please stop.
It's me.
Oh this one heckles us.
At least I haven't yelled at you. Not yet. It's still early.
Well, we're either not old enough or not young enough. So,
nah, I'm equal opportunity. I'll yell at anybody.
All right, we have one last question from Miles Ellis. Does it take a lot of energy to make sounds in the 3D?
I don't know what the 3D is.
I think it just means like to make sounds like on the recorder and in the world.
I think it does, because I think if it was easy for them, you'd have full-on conversations, full sentences, and all that, and that's rare. I mean, sometimes you get full sentence, but I think it's incredibly difficult for them to do it. I know both of my brothers now have passed, and the one that passed back in 2016, he was in my apartment in New York. He turned on my equipment. He turned on the speaker in the bedroom. The second time he was there, because the first time I couldn't get him to speak through anything. And the second time, it turned on the speaker. There's no way the speaker was on for a week, and without the battery draining. And, he couldn't come through. So I think it's tough. I think it's hard to learn how to do it. I don't know if it's going to be any easier for us when we go, having done it from this side, but.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on picking up spirits from certain periodic times? So you tend to get a lot from the Victorian or like Edwardian. It's like there seems to be like nothing prior to that or nothing modern. I know you did just say about your brother. I get all that, but it's like it's not an ongoing thing. You just seem to get the odd one here and there, but the majority of them seem to be like, especially when they get on video or camera, dressed in Victorian clothing, or do you know what I mean? The old style.
Well, outfits. I think it's different for me than you, because you have a lot more history where you are than we have. We only have a few, a few hundred years of history here.
Yeah.
And you're talking about like the gowns and stuff like that. Somebody told me years ago, it's the lady in white and all that. You see that a lot because women were buried in their wedding gowns, stuff like that. But Victorian, no, I've seen stuff. I've looks like a gown, but like I said, you have way more history in Victorian and Edwardian and all that kind of stuff than we have here. So. I got Sal, and Sal had only been passed for probably a year, and I got him. And, I've been other places in Gettysburg and hearing like tribal drumming and stuff. When's the last time the Native American tribes were in that area? But you pick up their drumming. Yeah. So, as far as like different time periods and all that, I would defer all those questions to John Sable. He's written some fantastic books. And he treats it like archaeology, like there's different levels that you're digging, and different levels to try to communicate to. And if I'm not sure of an answer, I always defer to somebody a lot smarter than me, which isn't hard.
Well, Simon has a good point here. A modernly dressed ghost wouldn't stand out in a crowd, so you might have seen tons of modern ghosts, and you just didn't realize they were ghosts.
Yeah, because if you're not interacting with them,
your brain is odd.
You're just walking down the street and they're doing the same. You're not going to know any different, are you?
Right. True that.
But if you see a woman in a long white gown out of the corner of your eye, you're going to be like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're out investigating somewhere, you're looking for it. When you're walking down the street, you're not, there's 1,000 other things going on that are capturing your attention.
Yeah. But saying that, I had that woman that crossed the road in front of me, and then she vanished, and she had like a white vest top on and black trousers. And then there's no, unless she climbed over an 8-foot fence or climbed through a load of brambles and that.
Do you think it was a ghost of a waitress, or?
You know, she weren't carrying a tray or anything. She didn't have a bill or drinks in her hand, so I don't know. Could have been anyone. But
no, I just had to get the waitress reference in there. My mother was a waitress. My father was an undertaker.
Is this true, or are you just?
So this is what the product of those two looks like.
It's not too
hey,
bad.
I know that website.
There's some good websites.
Yeah.
Everybody should go check those out.
Oh,
we got a
just
couple.
quickly. Yeah, just with what Og said about the time slip at Gettysburg with Eric Wood and his brother Rob, Dr. Wu. So have you ever picked up any time slips on an EVP? Like, so you're trying to communicate with it, but you've actually picked up a conversation between two spirits and the talking although it's in their time and it's happening now?
I'd have to think about that, but I could tell you a real good story about two spirits talking, and it's also along the lines of the ITC training that I do. We're filming at a place called the Paramount Lodge. It was in Greeley, Pennsylvania, and it was just Steve Barry from the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Him and I were in there, and we had set up some equipment on the second floor, and we were up on the third floor in one of the rooms. And at one point I said, listen, if you don't want to come up here and speak with us, there's some things on the second floor that you can interact with. And we captured one spirit asking the other one, how's this thing work? So obviously they were from a different time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, and that's why I always tell people too, when you're doing this, explain what you're doing. Even if it's a voice recorder, explain it to them. This is, something that's going to record your voice. I can play it back for you. It's just another way to communicate. And the more you explain stuff, the better results you get, I find.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So, do you want to ask the question?
Oh, the question. Okay. Andy is not allowed to try to sway you one way or the other. This is a purely objective question.
I'll do my best.
If you could learn everything that there is to know about the paranormal, would you want to know?
Like all the inner workings?
Yeah. You were just
everything.
Bestowed upon you the knowledge of the paranormal, what it is, how it works, all of that. No,
because I'm enjoying the discovery.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Come on.
I don't, you drive your car, you go to work. Do you know how your car works? Could you build your car?
Nope.
Huh.
You don't have that knowledge. I know if I step on the gas, it's going to go forward. I step on the brake, it's going to stop. Yeah. That's what I need to know to get around in my vehicle. For the paranormal, I know that I can turn on a recorder, and if I ask questions and I'm being respectful, I'm going to get replies. If they're there, they're going to reply to me.
And
that's what I need.
And this is where the swaying, I don't think I need to sway you much, but
you don't need to sway
if you was to learn everything, then you wouldn't be doing what you do now. Because you'd be going around, it's like someone would be saying, I've heard these stories, I've got that voice. You'd be like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's just blah, blah, blah. And I can explain to you why it's doing that and what it is. I wouldn't want to know that.
I mean, there was a time where people just looked up in the sky and they saw the planets, not knowing what they were and this and that. And now we know what the planets are. And are we any better off for it? All it does is remove the mystery and the fun. I do paranormal because it's fun. I enjoy talking to spirits. I enjoy capturing their voices. And if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I just want to know everything all the time.
No. She's just going to ruin it for all of us.
I will tell you exactly what it is when I find out.
It might come. I mean, you're still young. There might be a time in your life where it does, everything does become evident.
Who knows?
It ain't today, though. It won't be tomorrow.
Probably not.
But that's why we're out there all the time doing this.
Mm-hmm. All right.
No. It might be Saturday because that's when that Atlas A13I or
Oh,
whatever it is supposed to be contacting us and having this mass alien invasion in 3 days. So
that is true.
I'm still upset about the rapture not happening.
Clearly, it did happen, and we were just the ones that were left behind.
Could be.
There's not that many good people left in the world.
Great, thanks.
All right, so
yes.
a couple minutes left. So, Flip, what do you want to plug? What do you want to tell people coming up?
Well,
how to find you?
You've been plugging Dead Is Not the End. I'm on all the social media networks as Dead Is Not the End or as Flip Searles. This weekend, I'll be down in Trenton, Florida at the Gilchrist County Jail doing an event down there. Great event. They got a whole bunch of people from Naked and Afraid that come out, and I'm the one that gets to lead them through the jail. And then a couple weeks.
Are they going to be dressed?
They were last year for the most part.
Okay.
So we got that, and then I also have a Superstar Comic-Con in Savannah the second weekend of November. So I'll be down there for the weekend, hanging out with my boys in the Paranormal Society of Savannah. I find it very hard to work with different groups, but that's one of the groups I can deal with. Groups are horrible. They really are. The politics of groups, horrible.
Now, I love it. I love your honesty in all of this.
Lisa doesn't normally watch the show, but I'm like, you have to watch Flip. He says such lovely things. She does.
Who said I was talking about Lisa? You brought her name up.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
well,
I'm not even getting involved. I'm not getting involved.
That's what happens when you know all the same people.
Mm-hmm. You know, Andy's coming back next year to Gettysburg.
Yeah, I've booked the hotel and I've just got to book the flight. Still got my visa, so it's all good. I might buy another T-shirt. Don't know. See how it goes.
Well, I'll be there. Maybe Nicole will know everything by then.
Maybe.
And she'll ruin it for everyone.
Yep.
Yep.
You don't want to know
everything by next year.
Yeah. Maybe after you pass, you know everything.
But if she does, she needs to improve her line dancing. But
I mean, Steve Berry passed and came back, and he ain't none the wiser. He's as dopey as ever.
So
yeah, those are the places you can find me. If you got audio, you want to send it to me, you can do it through the website. Go out there, listen to your recordings. If there's any takeaway from this at all, listen to your recordings. Yeah. Go through them, and even better, listen to them while you're doing it, so you can carry on a conversation. There's no sense in listening 2 months later to an answer that you could have built upon during, for a conversation.
Yep.
No. And if you're not doing recordings, go do it because you have a phone in your hand. There's no excuse.
Yes.
Go buy a cheap recorder. I tell everybody, cheap recorders and expensive headphones. That's what you want.
Yeah. If you're not sure what you're going to pick up, send it to Flip and he'll let you know whether it's anything or nothing.
Send me a copy. Don't send me your only copy. Keep a copy for yourselves. And send me what you got.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And if you
send all your orb pictures to Nicole.
Yes.
Do
not send anything to me.
Well, see, it's funny because Andy's the only one with his email address in the link, so you have to send your orb pictures there.
I thought I'd change that. Oh well. Anyway, would you guys mind if I do 2 shameless plugs? 3, actually.
Pick one.
Do we have to be here for this? I'm still wondering how drunk I was that you got me to agree to do this in the first place.
I don't know. Apparently, Andy is just blowing up everybody's business on YouTube.
We was at an after party, so I don't know what you're talking about. There was money flying through the air and everything. No strippers.
There was money flying through the air.
All I know is people were drinking in Gettysburg, and he's out there shanghaiing people for the show.
Pretty much, yeah. So if you want to go, you can go. That's not a problem. Or you can stay and listen to the boring part.
I'll stay. What else am I doing? The pool's still open, still sunny.
Yeah, there you go. Right, so on the 29th of November, I'm going to be at Spook and Spirit Fest in the Priest Cottage or Mike's Carpets up in Leeds. That's on a Saturday. and then that evening I'm going to be doing an investigation through the night and then sleeping in the cottage itself. And hopefully I won't get too scared and run out crying and screaming and acting like a baby. So that is that. Then starting in January, we're going to be doing Encyclopedia of the Unknown, a Paranormal Alphabet, which I explained to you guys earlier. Next one, I'm going to be starting a new podcast. It's not going to be going on YouTube. It's going to be going on Channel 12 TV network. So you can get an Android, iPhone, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, Google Chromecast, and all them. That is going to be absolutely nothing to do with the paranormal. Just going to have different people on each week, rotating co-hosts, all that. It's called Just Life Podcast. Going to be so they're all going to be pre-recorded. I'm going to send them over to this guy over in Vegas. He's going to upload them, and it is a subscription TV channel. So a bit like YouTube, but if you pay for premium or Netflix or Spotify, that kind of stuff. And last but not least, so this is what
you said 2.
I forgot about the other one. Anyway, this is the last one, I promise. So this is the one that is happening in September next year. So when I find it, I've just closed it all down. So this is what you're going to be getting. So it's a steampunk theme. It's a veil. It's a York Museum Castle or York Castle Museum. It's an evening conference from 7 p.m. till 12 midnight. Depending on how many tickets sell, depends on whether we're going to be doing a Walk of York investigation through the night. And there's going to be live music, stall holders, all different types of entertainment going on. It's 18 plus. It is going to be dress up in your best steampunk or Victorian style clothing, so no one's going to know who's a ghost and who isn't a ghost. And it's run by Nocturne Events, and this is where it's going to be. And on the 26th of September next year, it's actually full moon. So fingers crossed, because of the shitty weather over here in the UK, it might or may not be a clear night. Most probably cloudy, because that's what you get 24/7. So, but yeah, that's what it is. So they're the things that are going on. I am going to be jumping on tomorrow night to give you more of a rundown for the Nocturne event at Leeds at York Museum, and that's it. So I'm going to shut up now. Thank you so much, Flip, for coming on.
Thank you.
Good luck with your new show. Although I don't know how many people know what an encyclopedia is, but yeah, we'll go with that.
That'll be episode 1. What is
coloring book? A coloring book. Coloring book for adults. We should have called it that. We could have called it that.
You can still call it that.
It
Yes.
hasn't started yet. We can call it.
You know the business card's made up yet? Did you?
No, but I do have for any paying members for the YouTube channel. I've got a load of key rings. I've managed to get merchandise, so I've got about 100 key rings. So if anyone wants one that is a tier member, then I will send them out to you, whether you're in the UK or the US, or you can buy them and I can send you the link. And that is pretty much it. So I will be back on Friday with our new moderator in the chat, Miles Ellis, and we're going to be talking more about Rendlesham Forest and mermaids, believe it or not.
Ooh, mermaids.
And the best comment of the night is from Miles Ellis, who said it's been a show.
It's been a show. It has been a show.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
It's definitely a show.
There's, yeah, that is, I like that.
I will say hi to Henry for you, OGG. If he knows you by OGG. If not, message me. I'll make sure he knows.
There we go.
Cool. So we will see you guys all. Maybe I will see you briefly on Friday.
Yes. We'll see you in the dark somewhere.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you next time when we're all eating pizza.
Yeah.
And talking.
It's going to come with us at our pizza party.
Paranormal. So, yes, that's it. I will be back tomorrow at some point, probably around 8 p.m. UK time, 4, 5 p.m. EST. I can't be bothered doing all the other time zones. Failing that, we'll see you at 8:30 on Friday with Miles Ellis, myself, Abby Den, and hopefully Nicole Shivatoni, or as my missus calls her, Nicole Chit Chat.
Close enough.
Because she can't
I've heard
say
her
your
called a
name.
lot of things, never that though.
So yeah, that's it. Right, gonna go. Have a great 2 days, if not see you. Blah blah blah, all that. That's it. I'm going. See you later. Bye bye.
Goodbye.